Hi everybody! Today we're going to talk about the 2020 Nitro War National.
And starting on the pole, your TQ, hailing from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, driving an S-Works chassis with GQ tires, San Juan servos, a Blitz body, a Macklin motor and speed control, Macklin battery, all control of San Juan radio, sponsored by Macklin, San Juan, Express, RC Mart, DeSoto Racing. Special thanks to Joaquin, Chris, and Jose for the fun time in the pits. And thank you to Franco from RC1 Racing for all the spare parts. Your TQ holder starting on the pole, it's Felix More Power Law.
Okay, so we are back at my house and I just basically finished the 2020 Nitro War National, and the two classes that I raced was the Nitro 10 scale sedan, and I used the Serpent 750, and then also I raced the EGT class. Is a special exhibition class, and I decided to race it and test the new McLaren ESC motor for this class. So I chose to use my test car, which McLaren sent me for the testing of the GT, which is a S-Works chassis. So we're going to talk about what I used, what I did, what kind of setup I did in those in the War National, and see what happened. Let's check out the video. Okay, so first thing first, this is my S-Works chassis. The story of this car is the 2020 IFMA Worlds, I was using a Serpent, and then because of the budget situation, we had to sell my chassis to make up for the budget we spent in the Worlds. So I did not have an electric GT right after the Worlds, and right after the Worlds, I also didn't expect I will race electric GT anytime soon. So McLaren wanted me to do some testing, and they sent me this S-Works chassis to do the testing on. So let's check out my car. First, the GT4 body. This is something that we didn't need to, or we couldn't use at the Worlds. But this body, when I tested in Hong Kong, is definitely much better. I would say more fitted for my driving style. And yeah, this is definitely the choice of the body. Okay, so let's look at inside the body. Okay, so if you take a look, the basic car is this is a very simple car compared to the Serpent car. I think it's like a buggy, nothing really major. The one thing I do see is different really, and I say right off the bat, is the arm. This upper arm is almost like a 3D print machined Darwin arm, which make the suspension arm really stiff. You see, not so much flex here. And the layout is like a buggy. I really actually didn't like the stand-up servo, because the stand-up servo, it really not having a very good lock-to-lock steering feel. So that is something that is, I would say for sure they can improve on that. I run my car super soft. You can see, look at this, super soft. I believe I have a 6-hole piston and a 500 oil in here. Really soft. And I did my special trick with one O-ring inside the shock. And yeah, the car, this GT, is not really specifically for GT. If you see, it still have a center diff, which I had to use a locking putty for that. And yeah, during the event, I also have some problem with the meltdown of the rear transmission case. I have some picture. You can take a look. I really blew up the ring gear, and yeah, I melted it. They say I have too much power. Yeah, for sure. Now we're looking at the system. This is the McLaren ESC. It's actually production, both, because the motor is war legal buggy motor, 2100 kV. And the ESC is the McLaren, the M-Max 8. So this is basically the stock one, but we are testing the brand new software for GT. It's super crazy.
a lot of power, very fast. So there you go. And some people ask me about the droop setup, so I'm going to take off the wheel and show you guys the droop. Okay, so I have the wheels off now. By the way, just want to show you, this is that one set of tire I use all week and the weekend. I use old set for practice, and this is relatively new for the race, and I use one set for the entire event. And it is the GQ soft compound. Very good tire, it lasted all week. Perfect. Okay, so the next thing is you see the Ackerman and also the bump stir. I mounted underneath so everybody can see it. When I built the car, it seems this position it make more sense, so I did it this way. Didn't follow the instruction, but that is something new. And then let's check out the droop. The droop, if I push a block underneath, I'm at 1 here. Yep, at 1 on here. And then let's check out the back. The back, I measure right here. And right now, back right here is at 3. At 3. So the droop I'm running is 1 and 3. And this is the S-Works green springs. If you look at the retainer, I'm very droopy. A lot of droop and not so much droop in the front. This is the main thing that we need to worry about the setup. The pills you can see is up. I will have a setup sheet posted for everybody if anyone want to see. And then the ESC setup, of course, when we have more development on the software, we will post the setup also. I'm sure it is going to be insane for a lot of you guys because a lot of people say I have too much power, which is good. It's a good thing for this ESC and motor, and the battery lasted no problem whatsoever. I have not a single problem finishing the race, and no puffy. See, still nice, no puffy. Okay, so that's it for the GT. Let's move on to the Nitro sedan. Okay, so to the sedan, the 750, if you look at my body, oh man, I hate to destroy my body, but I have grown some hair on top of the roof. It is so bad that I have to use the motor spray to clean my body, and it cracked the body, so I end up taping the body together. Oh man, that hurt. That really hurt. And you can see there's many battle damage. I didn't want that. That is kind of my fault, but it's not my fault at the same time. This body is pretty beat up. I think this is going to be a retirement for this body, for sure, after this event. This was a really tough race for me. This is the first time ever I've been to this Texas event, Texas race, Texas biggie track. It is a very tough track. It's, I would say for the people that are watching this, it is like a TRC track, which is super bumpy, extremely high traction, but just double the size of TRC. So even though my car is known to not traction roll, I still end up traction roll every lap. So there you go. I gotta go into the detail of what is inside. Okay, so this car is basically Joaquin De Soto's spare car, or the world's car, or his normal sedan. He haven't raced it for a long time, since the Worlds, he say. So I just borrowed it for the Raw Nats. And my car, my personal car, I gave it to Hugo. Hugo, if you see and watch this video, when you get a chance, hit me up, maybe you give me back my car. But okay, so this is the setup overall. If you can see, I use hot race tires for this race because I was originally using GQ tire, but especially for the final, for sure it didn't work out because we did not have any harder compound. We end up gluing the tire for qualifying. It's still not being hard enough, so it is not a good choice for the tire for this weekend because we did not have this hardness correct. These are the 35 front, 37 rear. We didn't have anything harder, and we have to get tires sponsored by Chris. Chris was able to get me some good set of hot race tire. This is actually the tire after the 1 hour final. Look at it, it's still super big. I can keep going for another hour, I think. No problem. Okay, so first off, you can see I used the 748 bumper because I believe that this bumper is a little bit more of a less mid corner steering, but I can push harder because of the less L and the more flat of the bottom. So for me, it have a smoother feel, and in the mid corner I can push harder. So I chose to use this bumper. We test many different spring setup, and we in the end up going to the lay down blue spring setup. And then another things that we did is the 2mm upper roll center shim to get the car a little bit less, I would say, edgy in the mid corner, and you can drive it way harder this way. In general, just to get the car to roughly a little bit more pushy and not traction roll over and oversteer on the bumps. And then another big thing is the amount of camber we end up using. If you go on a setup board or setup station, it's a little bit crazy. It's going to be like 6 degrees of rear camber. So from this race, for sure something to think about is do not only trust the number you see on the setup station. Go by the camber wear and the tire wear, and that always going to help you in the future races if you go by the tire wear instead of that gauge. Okay, so the next thing is that we need to talk about the sway bar option. We end up using a very soft bar in the rear so that we can drive it harder and not be as bumpy over the bumps. And then the front, I keep using my 3 dot, so I didn't change the front so much. Okay, and then another thing is that option that Chris ended up using, which his car seems to be a little bit better on power, was that he had the 750 Evo upper arm instead of camber link. So from his testing, he said that the upper arm, which you can swap it from the 750 Evo to any of the 750, is a lot more stable. So you guys can give it a try. Overall, I would say that it is not actually my best performance for the car. I think that there is still a lot more improvement we can do, and to get better result, because this is the first time ever being at this track. It's a very, very different track. I wish we have more time to find setup, but yeah, for the first time I got lucky to finish the entire 60-minute final, and I ended up placing third. So I'm happy with the result, but I'm sure we can work on the pace, and hopefully next time it will be better.
Okay, so that's it with my video of the National, going over my car. I hear a lot of people on the messenger asking me for the setup afterward, so I wanted to do a video to kind of show you guys what I did and what is my setup like at the National. So I hope the next video we talk about the electric car back on the electric side. So next time, I don't know when I'm going to be racing Nitro again, but that was really, really fun for the one and only time, I guess, this year to race the National, you know, because 2020 we haven't have any real like national event, right? So everybody stay safe and see you guys next time.